want to sound. All he want to sound. All intellectual. All he want to sound. Look. If it was in Africa, they would have shown something here. I don't care what people would say about Google, but come on now. Let's be real. Come on now. All of these is the Americas. Except for this right here. We know this is Calcutta, which they now call India. Come on now. Every time they show your so-called Africa, come on now. And they always show the Finks. Come on. All these years, these folks was speaking about no Jaguar. Come on, man. Y'all aging ass, man. You better stop. Y'all showing yourselves up. I bet you they're going to say, oh, this is the Jaguar, best in Patar, because it's fat, right? I bet you. Oh, man. Come on now. This is the Americas. They're trying to kill our origins here in the Americas to make it seem like we came from Africa. We didn't. You understand? Let me tell you how they can tell us genetically apart. We have here in the Americas, the Australians, even our African brothers and sisters, we have specific genetic markers within us that tells us in what hemisphere we come from. You understand? And they match that genetic marker up with the dominant amount of folks that is already here. Okay? Those genetic markers now can mix when we breed together. Okay, then that child would inherit both genetic markers. This is what they're not telling you. They're not telling you that the slave ships, right, the cargo ships that they call slave ships was created in the Americas. This is why Brother Tavis Sanders was on the channel the other day when I interviewed him. Even he broke that down. Clear as day. Clear as day. So if the slave ships, right, that is how we want to call them, was created here, where do you think they were getting the people from? Here. They didn't need to go to Africa like that. They was taking us from here and shipping us over there, up into Europe. You understand? And from Europe, they was taking us down into Africa, which is why today they can say, well, look, we have brothers over there that look like us, and we look like them. That's because they took thousands of us over there. They took a lot of us over there. Even Liberia is created as a colony created from the Americans that they took from here and brought over there. That's what Liberia is. And now some of them want to come back home over here. Now they want to come back home. 7, 8 generations later, they want to come back home. They still got their southern accents. They're not telling you these things. The cat's out the bag, man. It's time to tear the veil. Again, South America. This looks interesting. I think I know what this is. The jaguar priest. Peru, South America. The serpent jaguar priest. And this is in Peru. Come on, man. We're not playing these games with these folks here. We ain't playing these games with them. We're not playing games with them. All right. Skeleton of teenager who suffered violent death discovered in tree roots. So this is Colombia. And all these bones that they've been discovering has been bones of what they call black people. You understand? Black people. The oldest fully formed skull. They didn't even find the oldest fully formed skull in Africa. The oldest fully formed skull was found in Brazil. Right? Then they found another body in Mexico. And you know what it was? Matter of fact, it's not even the oldest. They said one of the oldest in the Americas. And they showed that fully formed skull of a female girl. Right? That fell to her death. And I think this is her right here because she had broken her bones and stuff. And they found the fully formed skull of her. And I think it was about like 50-something thousand years old. Right? And it was a female girl. And when they did the 3D imagery of her, she was Negroid. So we ain't come from Africa. Man did not originate in one spot. We originated all over. And we got to kill that myth because out of Africa story is a theory. Jaguar stuff. This is the Americas. It's the Americas. Every time they show you Africa, this is what they're showing. All the pyramids, all the temples. It's the Americas. I got shown enough. What else was he saying? He had said something else that got on my nerves. This ain't the first time he did this.
See this movie, even though there are going to be Caucasians in this film that are going to be the ones that are kind of creating this rift, the true battle is going to be amongst ourselves. It's going to be amongst the people and the king, and it's going to be amongst, Eric Killmonger and the Black Panther, which we know good and well when we look at our situation. As much as we want to bring up other people as a reason for our condition, the people really understand when they sit down by themselves and things get real quiet that they have to look at themselves and we have to look at each other, because we can't just keep passing the buck off to somebody else. You see what I'm saying? And this is a film that's really going to showcase that, and I think that it's truly kind of touching and talking to people in their heart that they're feeling that, and they want to see this thing play out on the screen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's why everybody's buying these tickets up. We talking about Stan Lee, the guy who is responsible for pretty much all the characters of Marvel, stated.
Let's stop there. Stan Lee, right, is in one of the highest degrees of masonry. Stan Lee, okay, and Stan Lee based all his Marvel characters off of black deities. Let's use that word black, off of black deities, right? That's where he took all his Marvel characters off of. It's our deities. When it comes to that Panther, which you call that Black Panther, Stan Lee got it from the Americans. Stan Lee's a part of the hidden hand of masonry, just like your boy Sachetta is a part of the hidden hand of masonry, which he so eloquently showcased the other day, and y'all didn't even catch that. But I caught it, screenshot that. It's in my last video I did, my last live. But their job is to keep you away from knowing. Their job is to keep the secret, which is what this dude right here is doing right now. That's their job, to keep the secret. They know, but you don't know. And that's some devious stuff. When you are keeping the identity of a set of generations, of millions, of over 200 million people away from them, of who they really are. This is why Sarnetta screamed out before in his lives that these Negroes think they're Africans. You ain't Africans. He told you that so many times. So many times he told you guys that. And yeah, you have this dude coming and trying to make it seem like it's they took folks from Africa and brought them here, and this is no. Now, let's break down what the two Panthers mean fighting each other, right? It's like a higher self, lower self. I could go there, but let's go here with it. When they came here and they took the artifacts, the gold, when they take the artifacts and the gold, where do they take them to? They take them to Germany, Britain, parts of Kemet, now called Egypt, when we know Egypt is America, because America was called Egypto-America. See, people don't know these things because these folks don't tell you these things, because then it debunks all the lies that they're talking. You understand? Now, when they came here, they took the gold, the artifacts. They took the people from here, because you are the land and the land is you. Anywhere you go and you see indigenous people, they are the land of which they were birthed, and the land is them. So when you move the people, you're technically moving the land. So when they say Wakanda was moved to Africa, that's because the slave trade, they were taking our people from here. Just like when they took Squanto and so up into Europe. That's Wakanda. They move in Wakanda because Wakanda is an Indian word. So they took you from here into Europe, which is really North Africa. And then from North Africa, they brought you down into Central Africa and South Africa. Do you understand? Not even the Nigerians in Nigeria today came from that part of Africa. They came from Portugal. They're the original Portuguese. They see these dudes don't tell you that. They don't tell you that because it kills their story. It kills their story and the false information that they're given. It kills it because the pro-African, pro-black thing is a money-making industry. And masonry, for the most part, is about the almighty dollar. That's why you see Polite and them on his knees praying to money on his bed. That's why you see him doing that, because he know what it is. You understand? It's time for us to wake up. It's time. We have to realize what's going on in front of our faces. We have to see this clear as day. Clear as day. Look, God darn Jaguar Temple's here. So when they took you from here and brought you over there to Africa, what's that saying right now is the war that's going on right now, which a lot of folks don't understand, is every leader that we've had that come out to tell us the truth. When Martin said that we are exiled on our own land, Martin Luther King said that, right? Which leads to the Civil Rights Bill. If you read the Civil Rights Bill, it speaks of Indians and Native Americans. It says nothing about about black people. So who was Martin Luther King marching for? Then you have to go back to when they made it illegal for us to call ourselves Indian. They made it a law so we couldn't go by our title Indian anymore, that we had to take on the title African American or black, and we wouldn't take it on. Which is why in 1927, they brought it back out from 1825 to 1927, African American. We did not take to it. They brought it back out again in 1969. We didn't take to it. And Jesse Jackson brought it out in 1969. And then Jesse Jackson and 3 others pushed it again in 1988, right? In 1988, after the crack epidemic hit. And then our young children in the schools started taking to the word African American. And thus, a lot of us today from the 80s on up still call ourselves African American. Our elders before that wasn't calling themselves that. All right? These dudes know this. You think they don't know this? They know this. This is why he was doing most of the talking. You see what I'm saying? They know this because the pills even themselves text on number Aborigines, American Aborigines. Then in the same breath, they gave respect to Tavis and Renee Sanders. You know why? Because they speak of the American Aborigines. Yo. So what they're showing is this. The pro-black community and the American Aborigines community, aka American Indians, are going up against each other because we are trying to wake our people up and they are keeping our people asleep. Thus, you have the 2 panthers warring with each other. You understand? And if you look at the brother in the panther uniform with the gold, that's the original complexion of the panther, that copper colored. When you look at the panther, when the sun hits it, it glows a brownish, goldish color, copper colored. Matter of fact, like a picture's worth 1,000 words. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. Show y'all something first. Notice this right here, right? You see that goldish, the sunlight in the background? I'm going to tell y'all the symbolism of this. Okay? That sunlight is the feminine. His chair is shaped like the egg, right? And this is shaped like the womb. You understand? And boom, the egg. And he is the son of the mother's son. He's the S-O-N of the S-U-N. This is like when they show pictures of Jesus and you always have that sun in the background. This is what they're showing right here, right? Now let's get into it. Let's get into it. Notice, see the gold, see the copper look, the goldish copper tone. Let's get into it. Let's get into it before we pull this up. Before we pull this up. Let's see, Eric B. Let me show y'all something real quick, even right here, where it clears up. Look, you see the little brownish? The little brownish? Now look, now watch this. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Watch this. See that? This is why his uniform looks the way it looks. You see that? The fur. See, the spots is not the fur. The spots is his skin, right? But the fur, brownish, copper colored. Copper colored. Again, boom. Copper colored. Copper colored. It's not even black. Copper colored. That's why Eric B., whatever his name is wearing the uniform that he's also wearing. You understand? Because it's a representation of the sons of America going up against each other over an Afrocentric false identity also as well, because these folks put it like that. You understand? And remember, they took us from here and brought us over there in mass numbers. Y'all better go revisit that slave trade. And if y'all think this is a joke, y'all better go look up all of those treaties. Let me tell y'all something. Go look up all those treaties that was signed and what they were calling the Indians, because they was also calling them Black Indians. Go look up all those treaties. And then when they show those dark-skinned Indians that have that mongoloid feature, that's because, again, Genghis Khan and them were dark-skinned. They were dark-skinned folks. The first Mongols were what you call black people. So yes, they also came over here and they got into it with the Aztecs, and the Aztecs were slaughtering them. See, they don't tell you these parts of history. They're not telling you these things. That's why you see these form of supposed Indians here also when they show old pictures of those dark-skinned Asian-looking Indians. That's those are the Mongols that was left behind. Let's get into it. It's not black. See that? It's not black. And it originates in the Americas. When they was taking us, they was taking this. When they was taking us, they was taking the peacocks. When they were taking us, they were taking our wolves. They was taking everything from here. The alpacas that they have now in the Middle East comes from Jamaica. Now let's get into the school shooting. Because, look, man, like this is just 1 through 3, like simple mathematics. People make this stuff so difficult for no reason, for no apparent reason, more than just to keep people in the dark. What's in the dark shall come to light. Well, here's a light shining on you mofos. Stop the misleading stuff out. Real talk. It's not rocket science. It's just when you got to understand what they use on you is like the 48 laws of power and the art of war, and the art of seduction is a part of it, and the art of nature also is a part of it. It's psychology that they use on you, the way how they talk to you, because they talk with these elaborate words and they sound all fancy, and you're like, oh, you're at awe, right? And all they're doing is giving you fluff stuff. That's it. He couldn't even talk straight through the whole thing. That exactly trickery. And he knows. But what could you say? He was the one that was making fun of the Sabi situation with the laptop. Him and NK. So they dirty. Now we're gonna go into the school shooting, right? So I only heard about it. I heard about it yesterday, and they said that the shooter was Caucasian. Some folks are saying that the shooter was Mexican. It's the same damn thing. I guarantee you he's a pale-skinned Mexican. Same thing. Right? So let's pull it up. Let's see if we can pull it up. Damn, it's a lot of shooters. Yeah, I think this is him right here. You know I'm laughing because when you pull up shooters, mass shooters, look at this, right? And then you see the one throwing in, right? That's even if he was a mass shooter, right? But come on, look at this. Look at this. What does the face of terrorism look like? You know what I mean? These are victims right here. So that's not a shooter, huh? She's definitely not a shooter. See, you said they try to throw us in there to try to fluff this? Look at this. Come on now. Let's go. Let's see if we can find this dude. I think this is him right here. Yep, Florida school shooting. This is him. But I told you. Now we're gonna travel back in time because I don't have to spend too much time on this. So he supposedly killed how many people? You know, again, we're at a time now where stuff is about to kick off in Africa, right? Because let me see if I could find. Let me see if I could find it. Hold on, because I got my phone also here. Stuff is about to kick off deep in Africa, right? So there's a major protest going on out there right now with Malena and his peoples, and he has organized his peoples. Organized, all right? Say no joke. So these people are running. They're running to come to this side to try to also shut down this side. But in order to do so, they're going to have to pass power over to the Chinese, which is what we're seeing going on right here now, right? But we're waking up. So they're caught in a pickle. So the whole Black Panther movie is to divert our energy of awakening over to Africa to keep us focused. See, this is also about energy and energy transference, people, right? So let me show you something, because look, that shooter might be real, but it also might be orchestrated where they got someone to literally go shoot up. You can't put them past these people. They will have their own people kill their own people. Jews believe, Christians believe in blood sacrifices. They believe in sacrificial to create sacrificial lambs, a sacrificial lamb, which is you. They believe in that, right? So let's type this up. Let me show y'all. It's about to get real over there. This is why I pay attention to both sides of the world, man. I pay attention to both sides of the world. I don't watch none of this mainstream crap. You understand? This is the title of the thing. The title is long. So if we see. Here we go. Here we go. Now watch this. I want y'all to watch this.
Food to kill, Yamasa. This food to kill, Yamasa. This the Bua.
This is from Nehemiah channel.
Now I heard that these whites are coming to march again. They will announce a new date. I'm thinking national chair, we must organize a counter march and meet them halfway. We cannot allow white people to do as they wish in this country, like they are doing in Palestine. Let them announce the day they are coming back to Tshwane. Let us meet them toe to toe. Let us teach them who owns South Africa. We cannot be harassed in our own country during apartheid and be harassed in our own country during a democratic dispensation by a nonsense Afrikaner community. It must come to...
You know what he called them? He called them an African community. So when y'all say Caucasians aren't Africans, they are Africans, right? Since we're going to use the word Africans, because African is a corporate construct word, okay? Europe is North Africa, All right? They're Africans. They have rights to that land as much as anybody, but it's how they went about it. They went about it through slaughtering and killing and deception, which they burnt bridges. You understand? They burnt bridges. Okay, let's keep going.
Let us take them toe to toe. Let us show them who is in charge of this country. This is our land. This is our country. We will defend it with everything. If it means defending it with our lives, let us defend it with our lives. Let us see. Let us see when the poor come back. Which side will the police take? Police must take side. We are not fighting anyone. We are going to liberate our highways, our freeways from racist whites because government has failed. When government fails to protect us, we must protect ourselves.
Have your government protected you? No, because it's not your government. You understand? The U.S. is a corporation, all right? Created in 1871, okay? That's when the U.S. became incorporated, when they tampered with the Constitution that our ancestors wrote and put in the word off, all right? And when they put in the word off, all right? Who said turn up the volume? Put up the volume. It's turned up as high as it'll go. But when they put the word United States of America, that's why they took off the A off of USA. Y'all didn't notice that? Because US is not the same as America. The US is different. The US is a corporation. America is the continent. America is the land belonging to the indigenous American Aborigines, aka the American Indians, those who they call blue black, the indigo people, those who they called Indians. They made it a law that we couldn't call ourselves Indians because they came up with the terminology in the 1800s of African American. And that's a fact. You understand? So you have to stop letting these agents in these communities play y'all. Y'all got to stop and wake up, right? So now what does that have to do with this that you see all these false flag attacks? And when I say false flag, it doesn't mean false flag that people didn't die. People died. Okay? Maybe they also fluffed the numbers. All right? But these folks are running. All over Africa, what you see is folks waking up. And when the people wake up and decide, hey, we're not going to take this injustice anymore, and we're going to fight back, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? When you are really the majority, and you got and those who are really the minority is getting checked now, they're going to run. So they come in here. Because we are the most lost people in the world. You know why? Because during what you call slavery, they never took away the identity of Africans. The Zulus still know they're Zulu. The Ashanti still know they're Ashanti. The Igbos know who they are. The Dogons know who they are. The tribe of Dan and Levi knows who they are. You don't know who you are because they went to all lengths to keep your identity a secret. Caucasians don't have no problem to tell you that you're African if they took your ass from Africa. If they were brave enough to go over there and take you from over there, they don't give two craps if you know you're African. So they don't need to hide that from you. You understand? They don't need to hide it from you. What was this? Ola Rising, since I hide under your disclaimer and broke the secret of 1492, Masons have been given me the secret code sign. But you and I know the secret. The plans will now be speeded up. Get ready. They can speed up whatever they want, all they want. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And you know what? What I'm learning is the whole time is running out thing. Time is infinite. Time can't run out. You understand? Man, the living flesh has a period of where it belongs on this planet. So, and you know what? You don't know if you step outside tomorrow or today, if you're going to be here in the next minute from that. Okay? So what we can do is come together as a people and educate our young ones, because the young ones are the future generation. You understand? We are not preaching violence. We are preaching to properly educate our children. Take your children out of their corporate structured system. And it's easy as this, because folks are saying, well, what can we do to claim our sovereignty? We're not a part of the sovereign movement. We're not Moors. We're not Moorish American. We are none of those things. Right? When you claim to be all of those things, you are claiming that this is not your land. And that is the trick. Okay? We are indigenous to this land. This is where our ancestors manifested from. We are the oldest. This is the old country. This is the old society. All right? This is the old world. Africa, what we call it today, is the new world, which is why folks keep focusing on that over there. Because that's the new world. You understand? So what you can do, you want to take your child out the school system, you go down to your Board of Ed, and you find out what are the criteria of homeschooling. All you have to do is write a letter, right? And get together a teaching plan. And you put that together with that letter, right? But you find out what's also the teaching criteria that they also have of your child for those who are still citizens. This is how you do it, okay? And they'll tell you what you can do. So a lot of times they don't give you a fight. They don't give you a fight. And again, you don't refer to your child as a kid or anything like that. You refer to your child when you speak to them as your property. That's your property. You let them know, I want to take my property out of the school system. How could I homeschool my property? And they'll tell you the criteria, right? And then what you do now is put your own teachings also on top of that. So you have to deprogram your child at the same time. Okay? This is what you do. Stop using their social security card. It's not yours. Read the back of that social security card. It tells you that it's not yours. And when you're using it to open up a bank account, that's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. And the banks aren't supposed to ask you for a social when you're going to open up an account. These things you're supposed to know. This is how you wean yourself away from the system. They use the social security card to track you. Now let's get back to this. They're going to try to say it's a Mexican because they want to use him now to try to really shut down the Mexican border. And nothing really wrong with that. The only downside to that is that the original Mexicans that are over there, which they call Afro-Latinas and Afro-Mexicans, is going to have a hard time coming over here because this is their land. South and North America is their land. Not the Mongoloid ones that look like this with mix of European. It's not his land. Do you understand? That's the problem. Now they're going to also use that to try to lock down the Caribbeans as well. No more visas, no more green cards. But again, because you go by these corporate construct names, that's not you. They have all right to do so because you're using their stuff. You understand? The Caribbeans is central and the Caribbean islands are Central and North America. Also parts of South America. That's a fact. When you look at these maps. Right? When you go down to the United Nations and you pull up their records on what the Caribbeans are, it will tell you that the Caribbeans are the Americas. So how could the U.S. corporation tell you you need a green card to travel to your own motherland? This is why they committing these false flag attacks. It's to scare people, right? Because these are their own people doing the killings. And these are very pale faces also. So I'm not going to sit there and go look at a dark-skinned man that look like me and think that he's going to be the terrorist. I'm going to always look at faces like this. Then I'm going to always get nervous around faces like this. You understand? Matter of fact, let's take it a next step further because people acting like they forgetting. Y'all want to remember stuff? Let's go. Oh, see, didn't even have to type in the full thing. Y'all remember him? Y'all remember these two, Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols? Huh? Oh, you want to see their background? Look at that. A military background. You want to see his back? You want to see him again? A military background. You want to know what they did? You want to? And look, they just threw in the face of one Arab. You want to know what they did? Who's this? This is the Unabomber right here. Come on now. Come on now. If I'm going to be afraid of anything, I'm not going to look at this face right here really like that. I'm going to look at these faces. Well, not this, but wow, they do look alike. Eminem and yeah, okay. You know what I mean? This is the dude that stabbed up, that killed those people on the train. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to get into it, Now, what did Timothy McVeigh do? Oklahoma hospital bombing. Terry Nichols do. This is what they did. Those two boys, this is what they did. You understand? That's what they did. So this ain't nothing new. This isn't nothing new. So who's the face? What's the face of terrorism? What does the face of terrorism look like? What does it really look like? Let's be honest here. And these are your same open carry folks that they want, that they try to have march into what they call black communities to open carry. These are the same folks who are part of the police force that's shooting y'all down dead in the streets. You see this? I think it was, what was it, 600 people him and Terry Nichols killed? This was a hospital that they blew up. And you know the government paid Terry Nichols' mother's mortgage off. Dick Gregory proved that little tidbit right there. So I don't care if Dick Gregory was boule, he still gave information that we could use. Look at this. Look at this. Damn sure ain't no false flag. Well, it is a false flag, but people died. Because this happened so that they could crack down more on their so-called spy game agenda, on your privacy. They would kill any amount of people to commit to fulfill their agenda. Okay? And the folks who they will predominantly target will always be Caucasian folks, because they've made it so that people, Caucasian folks all over the world, wouldn't give two shits about what they call black people. All right? Now let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? This is what they falsely call Black Wall Street when it was created by Cherokee Indians, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma was created by the Cherokee. Well, what Cherokee? Melanated Cherokee. Melanated Cherokee, right? And what happened with this? The Caucasian veterans that came back from the war saw a great, prominent, dominant city that was more advanced than their own Caucasian towns and communities, and they were jealous. And they teamed up. This is why the first thing they always put in your community is the National Guard, because the National Guard have a history of being the first weapon against our people. And the National Guards flew their planes and dropped barrel bombs. And this is the first time in history barrel bombs was ever used. So when you hear them speak of barrel bombs with chemical weapons being used over there in Syria, that's them still doing that. They don't change their trick. They're a one-trick pony. All they do is just keep these agents in our communities to keep us distracted. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had their own movie theaters, their own hospitals, their own schools, their own shopping malls, their own liquor stores. You know, liquor stores is everywhere. They had their own parks, their own everything. And everyone in this community, in this town, in this city, were millionaires. And you know how they became millionaires? Because the money didn't leave until everyone was started to profit from it. The money circulated at least 19 to 20 times. This is where the Jews get it from. The Jews now circulate their money 19 to 20 times within their community. You understand? Yeah, this was in Oklahoma. Okay? So, you know, when they speak of the faces of terrorism, these people have always, and we're not saying it's all of them. It's these ones that are within these occult societies who are hell bent on supposedly ruling the world, right? But the whole world domination plan came from the Moors. So who did they learn it from? Who did they learn it from? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, we're going to have to wake up. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and for y'all folks in the islands that think stuff is sweet, you see this? He came and gave him a pow right in the face. You see this? This is what they bring into the island, segregation. And this is your Negro police officers in the island. All of these are Caucasians. Because the first thing they do is sending the police and the military for your asses. And they coon out and they do it. You see what I'm saying? You sitting there in Jamaica and you can't swim in your own beach because a man felt the need to build a gate and lock it off for 5 o'clock. You can't swim in the water that came from the beach because a man says that you're too dark skinned to swim in the water. Y'all need a Caucasian lady to come down there to tell y'all that was going on. You guys are crazy. See this? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is a dead body of a child that he's holding. It's not a doll. You think that's a doll? The world did not give two shits about this happening at this time. Let me not say the world. Caucasian folks all over the world did not give two shits about this. Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it wasn't just in Tulsa. Y'all got to understand, this went on for like about 2-3 years straight. Throughout the entire summer, this went on into other cities. Like, I think also down in Detroit also as well. Like, they were all, we had prominent cities that we built. Chicago to this very day is known to be founded by what they call Haitians. You understand? But they are Indians. Okay? So, you know, again, you know, you guys have to understand what's going on. We have those who look like us, who's put in our communities to mislead us. And then some of them wasn't even put here to mislead us. Some of them really thought what they were teaching was 100% truth. But when they realized how much money they can make from it, and then they start realizing the real truth, that money corrupted them. You understand? That green-eyed monster. It corrupted them. So they're like, F it. I'm going to get this money any way I can. So instead of them selling you drugs, crack, cocaine, lean, they're pushing you a false history. That's what they're doing. That's their drug. That was Tulsa. Trench coat. Mafia. Columbine shooting. Again, faces of the Columbine shooting. They try to say MK Ultra. Nah, it's not MK Ultra. That's dumb. That's some genetics just can't change in some folks. Columbine shooting. Now this really happened. This really happened, and they try to blame it on Marilyn Manson. Y'all know that? They try to blame it on Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson made us do it. His music. And that's when they try to ban rock and roll in some areas. It's a lot of stuff that was going on that folks didn't pay attention to. They try to ban rock and roll, and they try to stop a lot of Marilyn Manson concerts. These are two Caucasian dudes shooting up a school in Columbine, the Columbine school, the high school. What was their name? Oh, all right. So the one is called Eric Harris. I don't remember the other one's name. This ain't no joke. Look at them. This ain't no joke. Now let's see if we can get actual some other footage of them also being in the school. I think they took down the other footages. But y'all get the gist, right? Let's go now to, and I think it was like 30 people they killed in this. Actually, it's more than 30 people they killed. They was just gunning down folks. Right? Let's go to, because we have to prove a point here. So what does the face of terrorism look like? Huh? What does it look like? I don't believe he's the Sandy Hook shooter. The dude, the first Caucasian dude that they first blamed, his brother, I believe he did it. And they just put him as a fall guy because the amount of weight of weapons that they said he was carrying, his body weight can't handle that. But this is the face that they put for it, right? And then he also killed his mother, they say. So again, this is the Sandy Hook shooter. And the Sandy Hook was false flaggers. But again, this is still the face of the Caucasoid, of the Caucasian that they put. Right? So what does the face of terrorism look like? They want to sit there and discriminate against us. Right? Yeah, Sandy Hook was false. I know that. But try telling that to some people. They ain't trying to believe that. And here we go to prove it. This is the same crisis actor. She was at 3 other major shootings and bombings. All these that they're showing was a part of the Sandy Hook. They were all there. Some of them was also at the Boston City bombing. Even that. What does the face of the Boston City bombers look like? Even though, again, InfoWars showed and proved that it wasn't those 2 guys that did it. It was some other Caucasians that looked like secret ops operatives, right? Because InfoWars had a picture of the dude that was holding a detonator in his hand. Boston City bombing. Boston City bombing. Boston City bombing. This one, I believe, they blew some people up. See, you see the trail? You can't look. All the other false flag, they never show none of this. They never show none of this. You understand? They never show these things. See, where this happened, some people's got hit right here. People's got hit. Boston bombing. Boston bombing. Right? That's the thing. And these are the 2 faces responsible for it. Right? It doesn't matter if they say, well, these are Armenians. It's still your Caucasian cousins. Stop it. Cut it out. Y'all still came from the same landmass. Stop it. Cut it out. You guys are still one people. So cut it out. We're not going to play that game. The Boston City bombing. Her leg is gone. Well, his leg is gone. Look, it's gone. Both of them. So this happened. This happened. This definitely. This happened. Some of these pictures might be graphic, folks. So if you have children, you might want to, cover your children. Well, your children should be in school if you're in the East Coast, right? But, oh, word, Chief? Autonomous one, they did? I got to see that, brother. I got to see that. But again, what does the face of terrorism look like? Because when I hear terrorists, I don't think of a Negro face. You see what I'm saying? Now, look. Now, let's get back to this. Let's show y'all something real quick because we got to drive this home here. Let's get back to this. Let me show y'all something again. Let's show y'all something again. show you outside. Hold on. Don't. Oh, stop playing. Hold on, y'all. I just had it. I skipped past it. I don't know what I did. Okay, I see what it's doing. Boom. This is also the dude that shot up that supposedly shot up that gay nightclub in Florida, right? This was supposedly the dude that shot up the gay nightclub in Florida. You know what, Carlito? You're the third person that said that. I'm going to go check that shit out. You know, I'm starting to believe y'all. But they said that he walked in with over, I think, 300 rounds of ammo on him, plus a M4. It was an M4 he had, right? And a Beretta. And he was wearing tight jeans and like a t-shirt. You're going to tell me the bouncers didn't feel that long M4 and all them clips that he had going straight down in a row? And the Beretta? Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm talking to this one. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. They did show that dude in the wheelchair. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But look, come on now. This is the dude that's supposedly, and again, you know what that did? That boosted the gay agenda, made us sympathize also with that community and kept us furthermore distracted to say, hey, now these areas, we're going to have to place more security, more cameras. And every time they did a false flag, they placed more cameras. And the cameras that they placed are facial recognition cameras that puts off. They're covering so many things in one lump here that y'all not even seeing it. These cameras emits such amount of radiation because they're facial recognition. They also scan your face and does voice recognition. So not only are they spying on you, they giving you cancer. They give you cancer, right? And they use these now to say, hey, you know, NSA is going to have to start tapping into your phone calls and so on and so on and so on. Well, start tapping into your emails. And now every app that they want to put a location on it. Even YouTube got a location now on their videos. Y'all know that? If you do a video, they want to know the location you did it at. That's tracking. They're tracking you. They're tracking you. Let's go again. This is another mass shooter here. Forgot what he shot up, but he just shot up some folks. Look at the Hindu dude right here. We know you Hindu, bro. We know you Hindu. Another one. This is the same dude. And he was wearing a police shirt, a police on t-shirt when he did the shooting. This is him right here. He's not Pakistani. He looks like an Hindustan. Right? So now you got your Mexican, you got your Hindu, and you got your Caucasian, right? Right? And mind you, the Chinese cop that shot the brother in the staircase in Brooklyn, right? Let me show you guys something, because y'all think I'm bugging. And I showed this in the video that they banned it in like 40 countries, and I just took it. I didn't even take it down. I re-uploaded it again because it put so many restrictions on it. So I put that shit right back out there with my disclaimer this time, so they couldn't do that again. So let me show y'all something. Let's see. I think this is it. This is it. Caucasian doing the Nazi salute. Laura Ingraham, right? Supposed to be a supposed European or American, right? Let's keep going. Another Nazi. I think this is Trump. But for those who say, well, that picture ain't real. Oh, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Where is this? For football, not another Nazi salute, right? Now, let's do this because there we go. That's Trump again doing the Nazi salute, right? So we're going to connect these dots, right? Again, this is Stephen Colbert. doing the Nazi salute. You think they playing? You think they playing? Now here you have Hitler doing the Nazi salute, right? But now let's go back to it because y'all need reminders. Y'all need reminders. Chinese children doing the Nazi salute, right? Because these are the people that shoot now people's down dead. You think they're not organized in what they're doing? This is Queen Elizabeth as a child doing the Nazi salute. There goes her pop. So far, we showed you the Chinese. We showed you the Europeans, right? Showed you Hillary doing her Nazi salute right here, right? Let's cut to the chase. Let's get it. Let's get it. Mexico doing the Nazi salute. These are the same officers that's pulling us over on these streets. Right? These are the same officers. Nowadays, you don't even you see less Negro officers and more Mexican and Chinese officers and Caucasian officers. They are recruiting their soldiers for when they're ready to go do that clampdown. The soldiers that they have. They're organized. And we got these Negroes in our community misleading us. Huh? And again, when you trace back the origins of these Mexicans right here, they come from Europe. So they're also your North Africans. Okay? Again, this is the Mexican president right here today. You want to shut a Mexican up real quick? You ask them about the Afro-Mexicans. And they'll either stop talking or they'll try to avoid the subject. Majority of them. If one answers you and start talking to you about them and keeping it real, then that's a real dude right there. Then that's someone you can respect. Again, Mexico. Mexican military. That's a Mexican flag salute. That's what they call the flag salute, right? But they taught us that it was a Nazi salute, right? This is also supposed to be the Nazi also salute too, right? So we're going to go back to the Nazi pictures and show y'all this too as well, of them doing that. But who else is doing it? But who's this? Huh? And y'all felt good when he was dating one of the sisters back home from the Olympic squad back home in Jamaica. Y'all felt real good. Y'all felt real proud. Huh? They know, you don't know. Because of your own ignorance sometimes. Look, you think they playing? See? And they got the symbol right here. They know what it is. You don't know what it is. You think this is a game. Got these Negroes misleading y'all. The pro-black community's job is to take your attention all the way over to Africa so that you can ignore what's going on right here underneath your own darn nose. Also, again, this is also another Nazi thing right here. You see the Mexicans them doing it? You see that? You see that? And all of this is Masonic. All of this is Masonic. I could go in my goodie bag when I feel like going in my goodie bag right now. All right? All these symbols are Masonic symbols. All of these. Masonic. Should I go in the goodie bag? Let me see something real quick, y'all. Oh, can't. That's my person that I gotta go meet also that just hit me up. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Tila Tequila, Nazi salute. Yeah. See? Look at this. What I told y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? All right. But it didn't even originate in Germany. It originated in the European schools here in the Americas in the 1919s and 1920s. That was the original flag salute. But I broke that down in other videos as well, right? So my last couple lives, I broke that down. I think this is Hezbollah. No, Hezbollah. Nazi salute. And these Arabs, they discriminate on us too hardcore, especially when we go in some of these stores and stuff, right? Let's take it up another notch. Let's take it up another notch. I think this is a game. When they talk about the face of terrorism, Chinese children, Nazi salute. These are Asians. See that? See that? See that? Can't hide that. Nazi salute. This is self-explanatory, man. This is self-explanatory. These are the faces of the cops now that's pulling you guys over. These are the faces. And the reason why they get away with what they're getting away with is because of what you call yourself. Because believe it or not, they actually are obeying the law. Because the law says if you call yourself black, you're dead, and they could kill any, and they got the right to discard of anything that is black. You understand? If you call yourself African American, you're saying that you don't have no land, that you have no mama. Since you don't have no mama, you have no motherland. That means you are still in the waters of the amniotic fluid. That means you haven't been born yet. You haven't been birthed. You know what that means? You're fair game. But now when you stick to your ancestral identity as being the American Indians, now it's a different story. You ever heard of American Indians being shot down dead in the streets? And there's a lot of us out there that know who we are and that still proclaim who we are. Our problem is that the whole pro-black RBG so-and-so community who was started by agents, you understand? Who was started by agents muck stuff up for us with our movements. You understand? But we're still here. We are still here. And we know who we are. Yes, Asian Nazis, because the German war was a world war. This is what people are not telling y'all. It was a world war, and all these folks that I showed y'all, all these other countries that I showed y'all, sided with Hitler. They're not telling you guys that. They sided with Hitler. And the Rothschilds funded both sides of the war. Hitler was also a Rothschild. His daddy was a Rothschild. But y'all didn't know that. And his daddy was also related to the Queen of England. Bet y'all didn't know that. All right, you see this, the condor, and this right here in the background? All y'all got to do is go through my other videos. I break all this down to how this connects to the folks in the Congos and why them and the Moors is up there torturing and chopping off hands and feet of the brothers and sisters up there in the Congos. This has everything to do with them. They didn't have this symbol until after the Congos. That's when they got this symbol. Okay? And that's because the ladies of the Congos had the swastika tattooed on branded on their backs. Not by them. That's by their tribesmen and women. Right? And then that it also links back to here in the Americas. See, they're not going to go deep into the symbols like that with y'all and tell y'all these things. Here we go. The origination of what they wrongfully call the Nazi salute. This is a U.S. flag, one of the first original U.S. flags with the circular stars. And this is in the U.S. school, right? They also told y'all, if I could find it, I hope I could find it. But again, it's in other videos that I've done. It's in a couple other videos that I've done. They also told y'all that integration. Oh, this is the royal family. This is Queen Elizabeth's daddy right here. And this is her aunt right here. And that is Adolf Hitler right there, giving her that Eastern Star hand grip. There you go. When you speak of the faces of terrorism, of terrorists, who you think is doing these things? Who do you think? All right, they're not going to show it in here. Let me see if they'll show it in here. In 1920, they had integrated schools. Did y'all know that? in America that had integrated schools. In the 1920s, that's when they started reprogramming the thinking mind of the Indian, right? To try to fall into not only the African American ideology, but they were also teaching our great great grandparents the Nazi salute, right? In the schools that were also segregated. So they had schools that weren't segregated and they had schools that were segregated. So I don't think segregation was just started happening in like the 50s and stuff, right? Or like integration started happening in the 50s. Integration always been around. They just hid that so well from you. I can't find it. But I have it in my other videos though. So, just gonna have to search through it, the archive. It should be like 5-6 videos down, live streams down. But there you have it, people. Matter of fact, let me drive this home too, also with y'all. Let me drive this home. Is it? God damn it. I showed y'all Hezbollah already. Showed y'all the Chinese. Oh, look at this. He's reading from a manual and still doing the Nazi salute, and this is in Taiwan, right? That's in Taiwan. American police, the same faces of whom was doing the children of the people who's doing that Nazi salute. This is also a Nazi thing, also that they have y'all doing. Y'all don't even know it. There's so many hand signs and stuff that they do. Again, same faces. The children of those same people. Let's keep going. Let's do this. One Negro, 1, 2, 3, and then another one Negro. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. See? Nazi salute peoples on your police force. Right? Can't make this up. Y'all got to know who's patrolling your community. The faces who are in your community, you have to know these things. For real, for real, for real. You have to know these things. There's the Asian officer right here as well. There's a lot more of him where that came from. And we saw them doing the Nazi salute. Like, I don't need to show no more. Y'all gonna have to wake up. Because y'all think that this is some sort of a game, I believe. I believe you guys really think this is some sort of game. This is some make-believe stuff. Saint make-believe. Y'all gonna have to wake up. For real. Feathered Sun, thank you. Thank you, family. Thank you. Because, that whole Texas, that whole Florida shooting, but man, when I see this is a scare tactic, and it shows that they also have a history of sacrificing their own people, and not just their own people, all people, to complete the agenda. So you guys know who the powers to be are, and you guys know who are funding these attacks. So stop looking outside the country. Stop looking outside the country. You understand? And if you're going to look outside the country, put your attention in the right places. And for you brothers and sisters who are joining in these militaries, going over there to Iraq and all these places, to go over there to kill folks who are already being slaughtered. That has pretty much nothing to do with their terroristic attacks that's happening over here. The biggest reminder to hit y'all with Biggest reminder to hit y'all with. (9/11), right? And they said this man was responsible, right? But if this man was responsible and you couldn't find him and you were searching for this man, right? But this man's children owns how many fashion stores in Manhattan? This man's family are part owners in the Snapple industry, right? And this man went to school with the Bushes, right? And this man family also owns oil companies with the Bushes. How the hell could you not find them if his sons and daughters was here at the time when 9/11 happened? But what they did was they privately flew out the Bin Laden's children outside of the U.S. That's what they did. Watch my 6. Thank you, family. Thank you. That's what they did. And then you know what they started doing? They started going around in the Hindu communities and stuff and grabbing up folks who they was calling Arabs and so on and so, and throwing them in concentration camps here in America, here, and was interrogating them, torturing them for this man whose children was in Manhattan the time the bombs in the World Trade went off, because that's what it was. I know demolition. I used to do demolition. That was a demoed incident. Even Tower 7, when Tower 7 fell, nothing hit it. Don't y'all know that? It imploded on itself. So if his children were here and you privately flew his children out with a military escort out of U.S. airspace, huh? Why were you torturing people to look for him when you had his sons and daughters? Why? And if you know these men, their culture, they're big on their heirs. They'll do anything to protect their heirs. You understand? They could have been had him. But you know why they didn't make it a top priority to go after him like that? Because he didn't do it. Who was in charge of maintaining the steel beams? Thank you, Uncommon Courtesy. Thank you. Who was in charge of maintaining the steel beams and the maintenance of the structure of the World Trade? George Bush's cousin was in charge of security, one of the head security firms, and one of the ones who were in charge of inspecting the premises and making sure that everything was good. The Bushes. When 9/11 happened, all the Jewish CEOs weren't even in their office. They weren't there. They weren't. As a matter of fact, I think all the Jews had left, and the only ones that really died into that blast were Christians. To be honest, a lot of the Jews had that day off. Did y'all ever thought about the insurance money that Trump received back from the World Trade being dropped? But at the time when Trump was said to have been bankrupt? Y'all don't think about those things, huh? Did y'all ever thought about when Trump was blaming the Jews? He blamed the Jews for the fall of the World Trade. Y'all never, you think about that? Huh? So excuse me when they try to sell me the face of terrorism. And I don't believe it. You understand? I'm telling y'all, family, nothing is what it seems. And until we check these dudes within our community keeping us distracted, we're not going to be able to focus on these things in front of us. You see what I'm saying? We're not. And it is time for us to wake up. It is time for us to understand what it is that we are really seeing played out in front of us. It is time. It is time for us to call out the agents in our community. Let me see if I here we go. You see this right here? This is called the hidden hand. This is a Masonic thing. That's what this is called, right? Let me see if it's here. Did I delete it? Did I delete it? Did I? Today. Let me show y'all something, because I know y'all watching. The hidden hand. Who's that? Bryant Lovelace. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Who's that? What is this? The hidden hand. That means they're in charge of keeping the secrets and keeping the secrets away from you. Do you understand? Means they can't let you know who you are at no time at all. You understand? It means they know the truth, but they're put to deceive you to keep you away from the truth. This is why he stated that you Negroes think that you're Africans, that you think that you're Africans. This is why Dick Burden came out and said African Americans think that they came over here in a chained migration. When you come over here in chains, because you didn't come over here as slaves. They came here and saw you here. You understand? Now you hear a lot of them trying to change their tune. A lot of these pro-blacks trying to change their tune to mention American Aborigines or Aboriginal. You hear some of them say these things. Now you're hearing them say these things because they realize that the veil has been ripped open and the walls is cracking in on them. You understand? They realize this. This is called the hidden hand. And let me show y'all something. Let me zoom this in if it will let me zoom it in here. Hold on. Let me see. I want to show y'all something because y'all think this is a game. Let's see if it'll let me. You see his ring? It's turned to the side. Look, it's not even straight. He turned it to the side. When they're doing business, right? The ring is supposed to be turned to the side during business hours. But when they're not doing business, then it's supposed to be turned fully up, showing it, exposing it. The hidden hand. The hidden hand. Okay? The hidden hand. Y'all have to understand. For years, they've been in your community. How you think Malcolm died? Jeru, thank you, brother. Thank you. How do you think Malcolm died? How do you think Khalid died? How do you think Martin died? Got murdered. Let me say got murdered. How do you think Garvey got set up? Huh? How do you think Noble Drew got murdered? Because these men were about to spill the beans of who we are. Noble Drew Ali's mother was an Indian. That's a fact. They were about to spill the beans. And who started this form of what we now know as Masonry? The Moors. And who taught the Caucasians? Since y'all need a reminder, right? Y'all need a reminder before I go, because I want to drive this home to y'all before I go. I have to drive this home to y'all so that my people will wake up. Also, don't forget, look up the etymology of the word sun. It's going to tell you that sun means feminine. So the sun is the woman. So everywhere y'all saw Jesus and the halo behind them, that's the mother with her son. Everywhere her son went, her S-O-N, the mother never left, because a mother's love is eternal. You understand? That S-U-N is a feminine. That M-O-O-N is masculine. They've been misteaching y'all. And it's time, like I couldn't just sit back and just watch it anymore. You know? Because us as American Aborigines, as American Indians, we know what they're doing. So a lot of us now is coming out and letting y'all know what's going on. Because it's time for y'all to wake up. And some of us that came on this journey are even learning more information, because I'm learning a hell of a lot more information, because I was once caught up in that. I used to sit down and to watch Sign at the TV. I used to always sit down just to see SETI and Brother Polite. Yeah, give it to them Hebrews. Give it to them. That's what I used to say, not knowing that the Hebrews was really onto something, not knowing that Virginia is really Jerusalem and America was called Egypto-America, not knowing these things at the time. Not knowing that Utah is originally called Yuda, and Yuda means the most high place, the most high mountains where our people lived, because we lived in high areas. That's why we are called the most high people. Etymology is a hell of a thing when y'all start getting into it. right? So just to drive this home to y'all. What was I want to show y'all? It totally slipped my mind about what I was about to show y'all just now. Oh, just to drive it home to y'all of who created and taught these folks this form of masonry, right? And show you how they dry snitch on themselves all the time. Again, this is public information. This is a public forum. And all I'm doing is critiquing public work. That's it. Just drive it home to y'all.
The divine plan. America didn't happen by chance.
This is Punk Ridge
that this will come about.
Channel.
The Moors then had a plan for a new world order. A one world, new world order. That was a Moorish plan originally. The Europeans inherited that plan through the Masonic Lodge, which was the vehicle by which we civilized and taught the Europeans. And so now when we hear them saying it, we ready to start the baby with the bathwater, thinking it's from them. No, we originally laid out that plan for one divine world order. And they merely inherited it. And when we fell off, they still espoused it. Even though many of them are not carrying out right exactly, because you got to understand that the European Masons who run this government, who run the international scene, that they're under certain oaths and obligations. There's certain things that they can't do. There's certain things that they can't speak on. They're functioning more or less in a custodial capacity or fiduciary capacity. They will make custodians. When we were falling from power, we said, all right, you see this throne? We're going to make you custodians of this throne.
Yeah. You can't make this stuff up. So when they get mad at me, don't get mad at me because I'm using your own words against you. Yo, you hear what he said? We said, you see this throne? Why would you make your supposed enemy the holders of your throne? Why would you? Why would you take off your crown and give it to another man? Huh? Like Sister Phoenix said, you took off your crown, you put it down, you didn't want to pick it back up. The next man picked it up, and then he took your identity. Whose fault is that? Their fault. You know why he did that? And he passed it on because I want y'all to see something. They passed it on to the Caucasians, and the Caucasians are passing it on to the Chinese right now today, right? Because they all came from the same landmass. Let me show y'all something because we're going to get into this. We're going to get into it, family. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. And I want y'all to learn, right? I want y'all to learn. Ask questions. Be free thinkers. Don't let no man tell you nothing and you don't investigate it yourself. Don't let me tell you nothing and you don't investigate it yourself. I'm show y'all something. Why they're doing that? Because they're all the same people, right? That's why when you see Taj Baby doing his mock courts, you see Caucasians and all sorts of people in his mock courtrooms, all right? Even though you have Moors going out there talking about Caucasian monkeys. They're not monkeys. They're all the same people, right? Look, Moor, North African, Berber, late 14th century, from Old French Moor, from medieval Latin Morus, from Latin Morahus, inhabitants of Mauritania, right? Parentheses, Northwest Africa, a region now corresponding to northern Algeria and Morocco. So Mauritania is not even Morocco. Do you understand? It's corresponding. It's not the same landmass. Do you understand? So when they talk about we're Moors from Mauritania, come on, cut it out. You see what I'm saying? And the Mauritanians don't even call themselves Moors. And the folks in Morocco don't even call themselves Moors. So where did these Moors come from, right? They show you pictures of old medieval England of dark-skinned folks, and they wasn't even calling themselves Moors because they were Saracens. Let's keep going. North Africa, Algeria, Morocco. From Greek, moros, perhaps a native name or else cognitive with moros, black. So they're the black people, right? But this adjective only appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name of the reserve. Being a dark people in relation. So Moors just means also dark in general, right? But it's not only that, in relation to Europeans, right? Because dark-skinned folks was also the first Europeans, right? Which is because this is why Europe is really North Africa. Their name in the middle, this is why they said North African. Their name in Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. So the Moors are also Negro. They're black and Negro, right? Late 16th to 17th century, used indiscriminately of Muslims. So where they got Muslim from? When they say they're M-O-S, Muslims, they're Muslims, Persians, Arabs, etc. But especially those in India. Now, let's go look up the etymology of the word black, because y'all have to break this stuff down. Matter of fact, let's do this first. Let's do this first, right? Because they like to say that they're more ish, right? They like to say that they're more ish. Let's do this first. If I could find it back, because every time I do these things, it's in my other videos though. So I proved it in other videos. So sometimes when I go back, these mofos, they delete these things. Let's see. It should have been in my search history. Because you got ish, right? Ish is masculine. Ish means man. Ishta, right? Or isha means woman. It's feminine. So when they say that they're more ish, and more means black, right? And ish means man, they're saying black man. So they say, don't call me black. Shut your asses up. If y'all don't stop. Let me see. From HBO. We're not going into no Game of Thrones stuff. I don't want to say people say that this is a make-believe thing. Let's go. Let's get it in. Meaning, I guess, I know people, but I forgot the phrase. Come on. I might have to type in the Hebrew meaning. Told you, every time I do this, they block my videos and they delete shit. Wait, not this time. I'm gonna find this shit. We're gonna find it. Let's drive this home and show it to y'all. Text. This is it.
Jess couldn't ignore it.
Text. Text. This is it. See, they playing games. They giving me the slang. I don't want the slang. Just give me the darn meaning. They giving the slang. All right. Let me type it in a different way. We take out meaning. Okay. Let's see. All right. HBO Game of Thrones. It's biblical. It's in the Bible, right? Ish goes back to Adam and Eve, right? Because they refer to Adam in the Bible as Ish, right? And Eve as Ishta. And Ish meant man, male, masculine. Okay. Let's do this. They're trying to bury this shit. We're going to find it. We're going to find it. There we go. They try to bury it. Out of here. Okay. Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, Ish-Shah, because she was taken out of man, Ish." Y'all see that? Ish. For this reason, a man, Ish, right? Parentheses, Ish, shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, Isha, and they shall become one flesh. Genesis 2:23-24. Ish means man. So when you say you're more Ish, you're saying that you're a more man. That is what you are saying, right? And what is a Mormon? What do we know the Mormons to be? Huh? We know the Mormons to be what? Caucasians, right? So let's see what a Mormon is. Let's see what a Mormon is, right? Let's see what a Mormon is. Let's see what a Mormon is. Oh, good Lord. Look at them Moors. Look at them Moors, right? So the Moors passed it down to them, which is why them and the Jehovah Witnesses are sitting on top of how many acres of lands here in the Americas on top of our most sacred artifacts, selling them and holding them. They're the bookkeepers of our history, holding our stuff from us. This is why they're out there in what we would call nowhere, but they're not in nowhere. They're on our sacred lands. This is why also New York City was built on our sacred land, right? If y'all walk through the World Trade Center right now, the underground, going like you're going back to the underground area that they built up that looked like a rib cage. Look at it real well. It is the rib cage of a reptile. It is shaped like a reptile. It is the rib cage of a reptile. They show you the tail end, and then they show you the body of the reptile because you just entered the dragon. You understand? That is what that is. Because again, when you go back to our culture, right? We're going to show you something. Yeah. You can't make this stuff up. Nope. Mayan culture, right? Aztec culture had dragons all throughout. Even dinosaurs, right? Even dinosaurs, which is a wingless dragon or wingless reptile, right? That they showed all throughout here in the Americas. Now, matter of fact, let's do it like this. Let's go into let's go Aztec or mine. Let's try Aztec. Y'all have to see. You guys have to see so that y'all can wake up. Y'all have to see. Just bear with me, people. Bear with me. All right. Bear with me. All right. I typed it in wrong. Let's see. inside Mayan. All right. We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. They're just trying to bury these things now, but we're gonna find it. Yeah, we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. We're gonna find them. I hear King Drop refer to them dragons, right? Y'all see King Drop showing you those giant spears out the coast of Costa Rica, New Zealand, huh? All throughout South America. Yeah, I think it's a game. I think it's a game. All right? This ain't no game. Wait. That's me. I'm typing in it wrong. Oh, they burying these. They're burying them so well now. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Bear with me, people, because I want to drive this home. All right? Because I don't want nobody saying, "Oh, he's making this up." Even though I could pull up videos of me finding this stuff. But they're burying them. When the truth starts coming out, they're burying them. More dragons. But they have temples surrounded by dragons. It's our culture. Here we go. There's another one. This is in the Americas. Another dragon. So when you see them in the World Trade, right? Because y'all have to go and watch the Netflix series that they call the Iron Hand. When they is it the Iron Hand? I think yes, it's the Iron Hand, right? And I think it's the last two episodes of season 1 when they uncovered a Mayan tunnel, right? Underneath the grounds of New York City, and inside of it was the huge skeleton of a dragon. To show you where they're getting these things from. Everything is symbolism, people. Everything is symbolism. Here we go. Look at them dragons. Look at them dragons. Come on. Come on now. All throughout the Americas. All throughout the Americas. That they show. It's just one picture that I wanted to show y'all, but they buried a lot of them, but I could find them. Anyway, y'all see what I'm trying to say, though, right? Y'all see what I'm trying to say. So now let's go back to this right here. So we know more means black, more means Negro, more means African from the north. We know that Europe is really North Africa, right? So we know Moors call themselves also Moorish, and we know Ish. That we know the Ish now means masculine. It means man. So Moor means black. So when the Moors say don't call me a black man, Moor means black man. This is why in the 1790 Moor Sundry Act, it states that they are citizens. They just have higher privileges than your regular citizen. You understand? Now, okay, Philip Kynes, dragons, lizards, serpents are all reptiles. Yes, they are. And the Americas, we went by a matriarch system. We were the matriarch over here. We always honored the woman. Dragons, reptiles, all these serpents all can asexually reproduce without the help of a male counterpart. They are representations of the matriarch. That is what our ancestors knew. Do you understand? Now, Africa, right? Or Ethiopia or Asia, whatever you want to call it today, is running rampant with a patriarch system, and we see the hell that broke loose over there, and they forced their way in over here to push that patriarch system over here. Thus, this is why over here is going through the turmoil that it's going through right now today. Ish means masculine. Ish means man. All right? That's what it means. So, this is what it is, people. This is what it is. So, when he says, let's go back, because y'all want to know where the Europeans got it from.
It was a divine plan. America didn't happen by chance. All this was part of the divine plan that this would come about. The Moors then had a plan for a new world order. A one world, new world order. That was a Moorish plan originally. The Europeans inherited that plan through the Masonic Lodge, which was the vehicle by which we civilized and taught the Europeans. And so now when we hear them saying it, we ready to start the baby with the bathwater, thinking it's from them. No, we originally laid out that plan for one divine world order. And they merely inherited it. And when we fell off, they still espoused it. Even though many of them are not carrying out right exactly, because you got to understand that the European Masons who run this government, who run the international scene.
All right, so they said somebody said the Chinese said that they're cloning dragons right now. You got to remember, you think these are just dinosaur bones that these folks are finding over here, but every time they find dinosaur bones, the military swoops in and take the bones from the folks who have discovered them. What does the military need with dinosaur bones? It's bones. What do you need with them? Because it's not just any bones; they're dragon bones. And people can say, "Oh, he's going into fairy tale." No. Let's get it. So we showed you the dragon statues that the ancestors carved into their temples over here. You think they made that up? Huh? And notice with the dragon statues, it has the sun symbol behind it as well. And we know the sun is feminine, that feminine. We know what that sun is, right? That's why that 6 can also be turned into a 9, and that 9 can be turned to a 6, because when the 6 is in its position, the 6 is a womb. It's a womb. And it also represents, again, the matriarch. And when you rock the matriarch back and she goes back, she comes back with a force when she hits your ass. All right. Let's see if it's. This. These are eggs. These are eggs that they're digging up. These are eggs in Costa Rica. These are dragon eggs. This is why they're polluting the waters as well, because a lot of these dragons lay their eggs because, again, we're going back into the time where nature is getting ready to defend herself. We were put as the guardians to protect nature, and we fell off. Us here in the Americas, and we were supposed to have taught the rest of the world how to respect Mother Earth, and we did. But then some got greedy and started taking the science to use as a world conquering thing, which you hear this dude right here letting you know what they did. Okay, and if y'all want to know where this bucket hat came from, right over here, the ancestors used to rock their turbans, and they used to have the dreads because their locks, because locks originated over here. And they used to have the locks out of the top of the turban, right? When you look at the old Mayan sculptures, it shows you. And this is where they got that whole tassel from and started feeding out some bull crap, okay? That's when you ask them when did this originate? This originated in the 1800s, what they call the fez. And it didn't even originate here in America. It originated over there in Germany. So these giant spheres, these are eggs. Keep going. These are eggs. These are all over. These were also all throughout the Caribbean. This is why, see, because when the water dragons come up from out of the ocean, it comes right here and lay their eggs, and they go right back in. And if y'all remember, they used to show giant creatures swimming in the ocean. And it used to be like, what is that? That was a dragon coming up to lay its egg. And this is what these folks are snatching up. And then they got the little smaller eggs that the Chinese are now having. You understand? And all of this ties back into, let's see if I can pull it up real quick. There's a little teaser that I ever brought up in a long time. Right? Right? And the silicon trees, right? Let's see if it comes up. You see, you think these are mountains. You think this is a mountain. This is a tree stump. And here goes the roots still coming down. And here goes when you cut down a tree to the stump, how you see other branches and stuff still growing up out of it? These are the silicon trees. These went up to even 36,000 feet, 69,000 feet tall. Branches that expand out to 19,000 feet long, 13,000 feet wide. This is why a lot of the oxygen in our air is not as jacked up as how it is now. This is why these folks keep cutting down these trees, which are artificial created trees by these so-called entities. You understand? Now I ain't talking about no damn aliens from outer space. I'm talking about right here on Earth. All right? For folks who be like, pseudo, you talk about space aliens. No. And you can go see the branches of these trees that still exist. And these are crystallized bases on the inside of them. Here they go right here. And all of this is in the Americas. All of this. Here they go right here. Right here. Right? So these trees is what they take in also fossilized dragon eggs from out of, because the dragons used to lay their eggs also right up in the highest version of these trees, which we now call mountains. See? These are not mountains. This planet is a tree planet. This planet is a tree planet. See, look, they even show you the dragons hovering around. Right? This planet is a tree planet. When these trees existed, we were giants. When they got cut down, we shrunk down. So did also certain other trees shrunk down as well, right? So what we know as the rainforests, what we know as the Caribbean, the islands, is just big ass tree stumps. That's what they are. And then you can say, but these are rocks. No, what happens is the dust from these trees also fossilize, and you have what you think is a rock. And sometimes what you think is a rock is really also a fossilized egg as well. All right. So these are the silicon trees. And with these trees, the crystal bases in them, because we know crystals like quartz, gems, diamonds, so on and so, those are energy conductors. So when they say the ancestors was just walking around with lanterns and stuff, no, they weren't. The copper was also used to transfer energy from one conductor to the next, which you would use the quartz crystal to use to harvest and pull in energy. The quartz crystal or your cubic zirconium are your two biggest energy conductors that can harvest energy, which is what you see also in your CD players. When you pull apart your CD players, you see that little quartz crystal in there, or sometimes it might be a little diamond, and then you see like the little gold on patches also in there. So gold and copper are used as wiring to run energy, which is what the ancestors was using. All right. So this is the science, people. This is what these Masons has been hiding from y'all all these years, because it all originated in the Americas. And what y'all think are lakes or craters of when these trees were rooted up. You understand? And if you notice in these areas, you always see like the military is always bodyguarding these areas because of the crystals that's also left behind, and also the rare minerals and metals like vibranium. Vibranium is also here. That was my little teaser for the tidbit. And let me just show y'all something. It's called Petrified Forest National Park, because they chopped down everything. So during the gold rush, what they call the gold rush, what them and the Chinese were doing was getting rid of all of this. And then they were finding the most precious artifacts. You understand? Because our ancestors carved houses in the mountains. Okay, they found a Mayan underground city that's 60,000 years old. Now that goes back to what Dr. Phil used to talk about, the doe-eyed gods, right? So this is it. We had our ancestors that also lived underground, right, in these underground cities, and we had those that lived on land. Mind you, we were not day people always. We were usually night people, because our pupils of our eyes were extra dark. was extra dark, so we were able to see at night. We adjusted to the sunlight. Thus, our pupils, the darkness shrunk, and we have the white outer layers of our eyes right now, because a lot of us came up from out of the underground. So when they're telling you about the undergrounds, well, Caucasians came from caves. We had underground cities. You understand? We have to stop the false teachings. We got to stop it. We got to stop the false teachings. You know, this is facts. All folks got to do is just really go start study and go research for themselves. You understand? Study and go research for themselves. And again, the widow's son is the moon. The moon is the widow's son. That whole Masonic thing, the moon is the widow's son. Okay? That's why the moon is the widow's son. When the sun sets and she don't see the moon, or when the moon disappears from out of our eyesight and the sun rises, the moon isn't there. It's a representation of death and resurrection. Death and resurrection. That's what it represents. Death and rebirth. You understand? So the mother comes, she don't see her son. Her son is originally the moon, so she's in mourning. You understand? The moon is the widow's son. The widow is still the son. Okay? But the widow is feminine. That's why it's, I am my mother's son, because it came from your mama's womb. You understand? All right. So stop letting these gatekeepers, the hidden hand right here, the hidden hand right here. And we could go back through Napoleon to Mozart to all these folks that did a hidden hand, down to even Trump. You understand? And those are keepers of the secret. What is the secret? That the African American is a Masonic secret. That the African American is the old people from the old bloodlines. That America is the old world. That is the secret. You're the secret. The African American didn't come from Africa. This is so simple. Ancestry.com DNA test is a fraud. And they told you that old African.com DNA test is a fraud. Garfield said, well, I did 7 of them. I guarantee you all 7 of them said something different. I guarantee you it said something different, because it's already been shown to be a fraudulent test. You can only trace back your history through genealogy, folks. You understand? And the archives, the Census Bureau archives, if you're going to use Ancestry.com, just use it for paper trail. Paper trail is what matters. Your ancestors go back here more than 5, 6 generations. You're from here. You're from here. Say what they want to say about Dick Gregory when he proved that Johnny Cochran was suing for reparations and it was for Africans. And those Africans, those descendants of those Africans, because they know who they are. They have the ledger still. They know who they are, because it wasn't that much Africans that came over here. It wasn't that much. It was a very small percentage, people. Very small percentage. The percentage that they brought over here still don't outnumber the Negroes in New York City today. That's how small it was. And their descendants have won their reparation cases. You guys aren't Africans. You're still on your land. When the Pope came and told Obama, yo, the lease that we had on this land is up. It's time to give it back. Obama signed off on the Indigenous Rights Act and the American Declaration of Indigenous People. You got your land back. You're just not claiming it because you got these pro-blacks telling you to proclaim Africa. And Africa ain't claiming your ass. And then you're going to say Liberia. Liberians are Americans because they came from America and started the Liberian colony over there in Africa. Stop letting them teach y'all false stuff. Stop letting them teach you lies. Stop letting them teach you make-believe stuff. They call you Carib Indians. They call you West Indians. They tell you that you are Arawaks and Tianos, right? Your governor general in any island that you go, any island, you have a governor general. That is the king. Jamaica governor general is Patrick Allen. He's a Negro. So if your governor general is Patrick Allen and he's a Negro, and the governor general is the magistrate, the highest magistrate of the land, that is a king. And he's also referred to as a monarch, that is a king. That means your prime minister have no power. So if the king of the island is a Negro, who are these Mongoloid Tainos that are saying that they are indigenous to that island? They're not. They're Mongoloids. Come from Mongolia. So they're not. You are the Arawaks. You are it's really called the Amaru, the Amarudians, who they call the Tamoan Khan, or the Amoan Khan Empire, going down to they are the fathers of the Olmec. The Olmecs are the fathers of the Aztecs and the Mayans, coming on down to what we now call ourselves Apache, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Chattawba, all these things. Arawaks, all these things. We migrated from South America down to North America. We upholded majority of the South. Majority of folks in the South are related to folks in the Caribbeans. The Caribbeans is Central America and North America. That's the Caribbean. So you're Americans. You don't believe me? Go look in the United Nations documentations and paperwork. It will tell you. It's just that these folks who drew these maps are so racist that they called you Caribbean and they named everything else around you America. But you're smack dab in the middle, 2 hours away from Miami, and they called you Caribbean. Huh? Come on. All the places that are predominantly looking like what they call black folks, they call the Caribbean. And the ones that have been thoroughly invaded with European Spaniard influence, they call Central and South America. But the ones who still have that high dose of what you call black people, they call Caribbean, trying to make you think you're different, but you're not. Understand, and overstand what is going on. Because if you guys don't get this stuff, if you guys don't start asking real questions to these folks who told you that you're not African, he told you you're not African. He said it out his own damn mouth. And you still let them come back and lie to you the next day, and you fall for it. It's not his fault. You think it's his fault? It's your fault for being misled after he already told you. It's your fault. Can't blame him no more. It's your ignorance. Read that civil rights bill. It speaks of Indians and Native Americans. You better read that and read it real thoroughly with the law dictionary and the etymology dictionary. Better read that real thoroughly. So who was Dr. King marching for? Y'all got to start waking up, because these folks are impersonating who you and taking your stuff. They have no respect for you. None. Y'all want to heal the world? The only way to heal the world, y'all want to heal back nature? The only way to heal back nature is for you to come back into your own. You are not them that he's talking about, the bearers of the light. You are the bearers of the light, because you are the light. You understand? You are the old world. So every time your mama gave birth to a child, she gave birth to light. That's you. You are the new light. When the older generation is getting older, the light is getting dim. So you are the birth of the new light. You shine the brightest. You have to come back into your form. Okay? So with that being said, I gotta go, y'all. I say peace, love, light to you all, understanding. Wherever in the world you are, I wish you guys the best, safe travels, you know what I mean, a safe journey. We don't have to agree. We could agree to disagree. I still love y'all. On the real. Right? Not all Moors or asses or misleading neither. Okay? Because on my journey, I came across a couple of Moors that kept it 100 with me. All right? So this is how I know to call the others out on the bullshit that they speak. Okay? So we do have righteous men out there, and we do have righteous women out there. There are righteous people out there. It's just that we're gonna have to start calling out the shady ones and stop taking their sides because we feel like, they're so funny, but they're harmless. Well, that's how they are, though. Nah, cut that out. Stop doing that. We're not in those times where we could play these kind of games like that. All right. So that being said, I said peace, love, bliss to you all. All right. Have a good one, y'all.